Hello, my name is Jonan Kanono. I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited, where we get to serve you. So if you have a financial challenge, if you have a money problem, if you want to scale up your business, we have you sorted. And you can always check us out at www.thejonakiholdings.com for money solutions. We are located in Tinda as our headquarters and at Mlago Business Center as our branch. Enjoy this video. Cleaning up the money lending industry, part 2. So in the part 1, I covered 2 players. That's the role of the government to ensure that we have the legal and regulatory framework that is sound and supportive of the lenders as well as the borrowers. Then I also covered the role of the regulator. In this case, in Uganda, we have the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. Now, in this particular one, in this part 2, I want to cover the role of the lenders as well as the role of the borrowers. Because you see, it is our sole responsibility as lenders, it is our sole responsibility as borrowers to make sure that this industry is clean. Otherwise, fighting, massaging the issue won't help much. So we need to actually dive in and make sure we clean this industry. So what are the roles of the lenders? The first role of the lender is, 1, to make sure that they are formalized. See, if I am not formalized, if I am not registered, I'm trading informally. I'm already an illegal. It's an illegality to trade informally. So you make sure you're formalized. Now, formalizing has a huge detail in it that I may not unpack right now. But if I may pick one point in that, is that you actually have to be licensed. It is important that you're licensed. So if you're a lender and you're lending money, it is important that you actually go and get a license. Because to get a license, you first have to have a registered company. And to have a registered company, you have to have a number of things. Memas, memorandum and articles, all those details, you will be guided. But the key thing is that to get a license, you have to have a registered company. So if you've been lending money and probably you do not have a registered company, now could be the time to start thinking about registering. Because where we are headed here in Uganda, where we are headed even globally, is that people understanding their roles, people understanding their rights. You won't lend informally forever. So the earlier you start to organize yourself, the earlier you start formalizing, the better for you. I'm privy, I have a package, I have masterminds that I run for lenders. Some of the assignments for non-registered lenders is that I force them to actually register and formalize and apply for license. Or else, you don't attend the subsequent classes. It is as radical as that. It is painful, but it's also beneficial. Why? Because if you do not formalize, if you don't organize yourself, then you cannot get a license. Because they might not issue a license to an individual. They might issue a license to someone who is the HR, who is the director, who is the what, who is... No. Why? Because you're going to fall in a number of things. So it is important that as a lender, you get to formalize your things. Get organized. And that's when you're going to apply for a license and you'll be licensed. So the point number 1, the role of the lender in cleaning up the lending industry is go and formalize. Get guidance, get helped, and formalize. Those are some of the benefits even of joining the association. Because there are things that we discuss, there are things that we internalize on. Do you need guidance? Do you need help? How can we support you? How can we help you to actually get a license? There are some of the guys who are complaining that, we've not got a license, and we're supporting them to get a license. So if you're formal, it becomes easy even for us as leaders in the association to accord you the support that you need. But if you're informal, we don't even have where to start from, because how do we then support you? You can't get a license. We can't even talk to UMRA. Why? Because you are informal. You're operating illegally, so we cannot support an illegality. So it is pertinent that you actually get to formalize as a lender. Then point number 2, assuming that you formalized, the point number 2 is that lend to the clients on the verge or on the point of the affordability rather than the collateral. I can't belabor a lot to emphasize this enough. Because for the number of times that I've spoken about it, there are quite many. You need to know, or you need to have the assurance that it is not the collateral that pays the money. It is not the land title. It is not the car logbook. It is not. So you need to assess the client, what we call in Jonaki, the 360 degrees. You need to assess a client 360 degrees. And you have to do it in such a way that you're minding the turnaround time. Because why we have money lenders is that this client has gone to a bank and they have told him probably come after 3 months, come after 1 week, come after 2 weeks. So you cannot afford to go through the same thing. You cannot afford to, subject a client to a similar situation. So as you're thinking about all these things, it's important that you mind the turnaround time. The turnaround time is the time that the client takes the moment they apply for a loan to when they get the money on their account. That's called the turnaround time. So you need to make it as brief or as short as possible, but also not compromising your steps. So you have to make sure that the client qualifies for the money. As point number 2, your responsibility as a lender, you have to make sure that the client qualifies for the money. I'll give you one example. A mzee comes, he's probably 80 or 75 sometime last year, and he has a brand new RAV4, 2018 model. And truth be told, the guy wanted 25 million. And the car would qualify to secure that money because it was a car that was new, slightly new. It would secure the money. But we look at this Muzee's bank statement, the biggest money he has ever banked for the last 1.5 years was 300,000. The account was almost dormant. The frequency of the incomes were not consistent. And this guy wants 25 million. We couldn't give this Muzee. Why? Because he couldn't afford the money. Yes, he had the collateral of the car logbook. He had the collateral that would secure the money. But you see, if you gave that Muzee money, would have lost the money, or would have actually sold the car. Would have sold the car and would have recovered the money. But you see, would have parted ways with this Muzee in a very bad way. And that Muzee would have gone to speak about money lending as something that is terrible. Why? Because they took his car. The car that is worth probably 80 million, 100 million, on 25 million. And then he would go saying, you know what, money lenders are bad people. And that would be a fault of Mzee, but also the fault of the lender. But majorly, it would be the fault of the lender because it is the responsibility of the lender to make sure that we protect our clients. We need to educate our clients. And that's why I even belabor to shoot these videos, so that I can educate the clients as well as educate my fellow lenders. Because together, if we are clean and better, we shall have less friction with the government. We shall have less friction with the regulators. It will benefit us. We shall thrive in this industry. So it is pertinent that as a lender, you assess someone's financial capacity to pay. Financial capacity to pay. So I may not highlight all the details in this short video. Point number 3, I'll probably go to the role that the borrowers have to play. I've covered 2 for the lenders, but I could cover 2 points probably for the borrowers. The borrowers also have the responsibility that whereas there are some lenders, and that's why informal lenders or bad lenders take advantage of the clients, take advantage of the borrowers, because they are not knowledgeable. They are not taking their step up. They're not playing their role that they have to play in the industry to clean it up. Because the moment the guy wants money, he really wants money. I've seen people when they come for money, and the only thing they tell you is that, where can I sign? You have the agreement, you have the loan application form, you have the documents that you have to sign, and the guy is asking you, where can I sign? You're like, wow, why don't you first read and you understand what it is that you're signing? That's why some of them have fallen victims of some of the bad lenders. Someone signs the document which says that probably, I'm committing this title in the event that I default by one day, sell that title or sell that car. I have actually sold it to you. So you've not read the clauses in the agreement, in the documents, and you're just telling me, where can I sign? So you, as a borrower, you need to understand what you're signing. You need to understand your rights. You need to understand. But also, too, is that you need to understand before you come to borrow, can you afford the money? I have had to cancel some of the borrowers. The person comes, he says, Jonan, I want money. But what are you going to use the money for? He says, I'm going to start this new business. Someone has told me it works. It is a good business. The return on investment is 50% per month. Wow. I'm like, so you want to borrow from us and go and start something new that you've not done before? We don't give such money. Even when you have the collateral, we cannot give you the money. So I sit down and educate them. I've seen some scenarios also. A client comes to you and says, you know what, Jonan, I want to scale up. That is the right cause. But when you look at the numbers, they have to add up. I tell these people, have you looked at all the other circles where you can get money that is not having any interest? Some of them have even guided them. Not that I'm talking ill against my business or I'm sending out business, but I need to serve right clients so they can ably pay me and refer me several other clients. Because through one person, you can actually close a deal of 1 billion shillings and even more. So you ought to treat them well. And some of them have guided them and say, you know what, given your cash flows and your financials, you may not need this quick money. First, explore your suppliers. Some clients have guided and they have actually gotten money interest-free from their suppliers through advance payment. And they say, Jonan, I have never seen a lender like you. So you can imagine if a number of lenders are doing such a thing, we are going to clean up our industry. So the borrowers also have a role to play. If someone advises you, please listen. Please listen, because there are several alternatives to money. So I hope you learn and implement, and I hope you're guided. And it's our responsibility and our role to clean up this money lending industry. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Highlight topics that you think I can speak about and will benefit all of us. Always check us out at www.jonakiholdings.com. Thank you, and God bless you.